All right, everybody, markets closed, and today, two stocks really held up my portfolio, being High Tide and Alibaba. They're both up a pretty good amount, which offset how much the overall market seemed to want to tank today. So I was thankful to have both of these names in my portfolio, keeping me afloat, so to speak. Now, High Tide, we just had a roundtable on this, right? And we would like to say that perhaps the reason it was up today was maybe the CFK bump, right? Maybe some people saw our High Tide Roundtable and Cash Flow Kings live. By the way, link in the description. You should check out that channel and watch the High Tide Roundtable if you haven't already. And perhaps some people took an interest because of the roundtable, or perhaps some people who were short decided to close their positions because they realized, hey, this is a really solid business. Now, this is a low market cap business, right? It's only $165 million. So there's going to be quite a bit of volatility. It went up 7 or 8% today. Market just closed. I haven't taken another look at the price, but it could just as easily be down 5-10% tomorrow as it was up today, right? So that's something to keep in mind with these smaller cap stocks. There's not going to be as much volume, and the price can fluctuate pretty rapidly. Not to sort of spoil the whole roundtable, but one thing that we really focused on was the elite memberships. These are the paid discount memberships, so, sort of like your Amazon Prime or your Costco membership card. And this is something that they pay $30 for. Now, this is an annual fee that they pay for access to like special deals, certain products that are branded with the elite mark on there that not everybody can just go in and buy. And they raised the price to $35 from $30, so that's a pretty good increase. And the membership grew to $57,000. And you can see the graph of how the membership is increasing, and the growth in this is accelerating. So these memberships do give them some discounts, but I think much like an Amazon Prime membership or anything like that, if you give them a good value proposition with the paid membership, so you can pretty much right away put the membership straight to the bottom line, and then even though your margins may go down on some of the purchases they make, I think your spend per customer probably goes up at an amount that offsets it. So this creates a virtuous circle where it keeps more and more people coming back in. And of course, you have like the special branded stuff that is only available to elite members. And I'm guessing these are the most dedicated fans of the High Tide stores. And you can pretty much count on somebody that's paying for the elite membership to want to buy a lot of those specialty goods. Now, even if not for their spectacular growth in elite memberships and everything else, their price to free cash flow just on its own isn't really all that demanding at 8x. Now, this is in spite of the fact that they put a substantial amount of cash into opening new stores, in spite of the fact that they opened multiple new locations. Their free cash flow was still in the positives, and they're not at a hugely demanding multiple of the aforementioned free cash flow. So honestly, I'm loving it at these prices. And, you know, in spite of the fact that the cannabis industry in Canada, generally speaking, struggles a lot, most of the names don't do terribly well, don't generate a lot of free cash flow, are not as financially healthy as High Tide. They manage to succeed even when the macro environment seems to be pummeling all the competitors. And as those competitors close down and they take more market share, it just creates a more virtuous cycle for High Tide. Now, granted, they still have plenty of room to, continue growing and a lot of work to do to get to where they want to be. and there's no free lunch in the market. However, something that is as close to free as what you can get is today's sponsor. Of course, I've got to be talking about Moomoo. When you sign up to Moomoo with my exclusive link below, you get a bonus APY of 8.1% on uninvested cash for the first 3 months. Plus, if you deposit $1,000, you get up to 15 free stocks. Now, when I made my account and deposited $1,000, I actually ended up getting shares of Grab, which, as you know, much like High Tide, is one of my favorite stocks in the market today. So I got free shares of a stock I was already interested in buying anyway. And also, they've got access to options. They've got like 100 trading indicators, some of the most competitive margin rates I've seen. And they don't charge you any kind of monthly or yearly fee for all of this value that they provide. So I definitely encourage you to check it out and let me know what you think. Now, on to the second stock today that was holding up my portfolio. You have Alibaba, up over 5% in one day. This is just continuing this epic bull run we've been seeing from China stocks. Of course, my cost basis on this is like $79. I caught it when it was getting crushed in late 2022, and I've seen it hit 120 before. I thought that would continue. It did not. It cratered back down close to my cost basis, and I've basically been riding it sideways, just collecting the dividend along the way. Now, looking at BABA, one might ask, is this still cheap today? What I can say about that is, if this was the Amazon of China, and if you don't think that it's going to be a rug pull, I look at the price to free cash flow of 13.7, and I ask myself, if I could get Amazon for 13 to 14 times free cash flow, what on earth would I do to get more shares in the door? Unspeakable things behind the Wendy's dumpster, let me tell you what. Now, this isn't Amazon, this isn't the US, it is China. There are maybe perhaps more risks, as that is a slightly less developed economy, different form of economic system and government. But all in all, yeah, I think a lot of people are on the page that this could just be the early stages of the Chinese stock bull run. If it is, well then, I'll do quite well on the BABA that I have. I'm not necessarily looking to add at this price since my basis is so good. I'm happy just to see what happens from here. In the meanwhile, while we're waiting for this to play out, they offer a pretty good capital allocation strategy that's pretty shareholder friendly, to be honest with you. So while we wait for all of this to play out, BABA gives a dividend yield of just under 1%. It was higher, of course, before the price ran up. Buyback yield 3.89%, giving you a total trailing 12-month shareholder yield of just under 5% here. So that's pretty decent. And frankly, I think if the price continues to accelerate, I would want them to hopefully slow down on the buyback at that point. I've been happy that they've had a pretty aggressive buyback during the times where the stock was cheap, but once the stock gets more expensive, then hey, use that capital on something else. Maybe use it to grow your cloud business or something like that. All in all, both of these stocks, High Tide and BABA, have been well liked by at least some analysts, and this is one where I tend to agree with the sentiment. And of course, Michael Burry made a big bet on Alibaba. I don't know of any actual whales that are really in High Tide. There are some people we would refer to as maybe retail whales that have six-figure investments I'm aware of, but no really, really big 13F filers that I'm aware of. BABA's another story, of course, where you do have a couple prominent 13F filers that have made pretty big bets recently, and it looks like they are ending up being proven at least temporarily correct. So all in all, I'm in a pretty happy place with my overall portfolio composition right now. I have a pretty good cross-section of different parts of the world, different business models, and I think in a lot of cases I have chosen either interesting value propositions or high quality apex predators in their respective spaces. So with that being said, overall, today's been an interesting day. I've been slightly up, while I think most people that I've talked to have been slightly down. So we'll see how things go. If you did make it to the end, I would like to thank you. Not everybody has that kind of staying power to the last 10 minutes. Now, I would like to encourage you to follow me on the X or Twitter platform at Mr. Macho Mog, link in the description. Catch me every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Cashflow Kings Live, where we have roundtable discussions and go into depth on many different stocks. Now, I would also like to turn your attention to my Discord, linked in the description, where we have a free community of many investors from many different areas and walks of life and different investing philosophies. If you want to talk to people, smart people, for free and really learn about investing, that's a great place to get started. Also, if you want to support the channel more directly than with your eyeballs and ears, I would encourage you to either become a member, I don't charge much, or simply sign up for today's sponsor, Moomoo, with my exclusive link and deposit some funds. Either way, anything you do definitely helps out. Take it easy, everyone, and have a wonderful day.